So, hello, all you amazing badasses out there this morning. Today, I wanted to talk about something really important in the process of unlocking your inner badass. And I had posted a quote earlier this morning that actually says, "Don't believe everything you think." And so for the past decade, I have been working with clients who really desperately needed to get out of their heads and to gain control of their thoughts and their minds, because mentally they had way too much going on, and that can actually take you away from the present moment, your thoughts and your thinking. And it can be very confusing, because if we are completely consumed by our thoughts, then that is actually what we will be experiencing. So this is actually a huge topic, and I may need to be breaking it down and do multiple Facebook Lives on this topic. But I wanted to start with just asking a few questions. And if you are on and listening, I would love to know who is out there. So just kind of put a comment in so that I know you're there. That would be great. So basically, I wanted to ask a few questions just to get started. So number one, do you believe that you can control your thoughts? Now, I have debated people about this forever, but I am a strong believer that you definitely can control your thoughts. And we're going to get back to this in a minute. My second question is, have you ever experienced a shift in your physical body while experiencing a vivid thought? So have you ever been thinking about something and felt a change in your energy, whether it be positive, whether it be negative, whether it be, if you start thinking about something and that triggers anxiety, or it triggers happiness, or it triggers a memory or something that brings in a physical reaction. I want you to think about some times where that may have happened to you in the past. And basically that really demonstrates how powerful our thoughts can be. When you can actually physically feel something that has come up in a thought, it's pretty remarkable. So think about that. And then the third piece I wanted to cover today, and the question that I would have, is from where are we perceiving these thoughts? So this is a big one, and I'll get deeper into that question. But we are processing and we are experiencing those thoughts from someplace. So where is that? So I like to talk about this whole thinking phenomenon by breaking down our human experiences into, let's say, realms. All right, so first we have our physical realm, which is our body, our belongings, our physical world. This is where we we have our appearance, our physical form. We eat, we drink, we, express ourselves. We go to the store, we have our bills, right? So that would be the physical realm. And next we have the mental realm. So this would be our thoughts, our mind, our imagination. So where we kind of go when we're thinking is like the mental realm, if that makes sense. And third, we have the spiritual realm. So that's our soul, our essence, our conscious awareness. And we need all three of those in order to be participating in this life on this earth. But if we can try to become aware of which realm from where we're operating, it becomes much easier to kind of hone in to yourself and to what's going on so that you can take control of a situation and live your life intentionally. Many of my clients confuse the essence of who they are with their mind or their thought process. So they're extremely consumed in that mental realm. And if we go back to the quote, don't believe everything you think, it's so common that we can be in our thoughts and it feels so real that we believe it. And our subconscious is so amazing. It's recording everything that's going on. But there has been scientific research, and we'll get into this a little bit later too, but there's been scientific research that shows that your body, your brain, can't distinguish the difference between something that is actually happening and something that you're thinking about. So your conscious thought process, what you're consciously aware of, what you're thinking, has a direct impact on how your subconscious picks up those thoughts and triggers something within your body. So I want to make one thing super, super clear, which is you are not your mind, not your mind. I like to think of the mind as like a tool. And this tool is an amazing gift that allows us to process information, to problem solve, to imagine, to escape reality, right? But just like any power tool, there needs to be an operator of the power tool. In order for that tool to be effective and to be serving its purpose and its higher purpose and structure, it needs to have an operator. And I feel like with the society that we live in today, so many people are walking around and allowing their tool to be in control, and it's kind of out of control because it's not being directed. So when I work with my clients, oftentimes they have very vivid and active imaginations. And an analogy that I've used in the past is that your mind is like an amazing, gorgeous, wild black stallion. Okay. And it has the ability, it's so powerful, and it just has the ability to just run. And it can run wild. And if you are not in control, it can lead you places that you may not have ever imagined that you could get to in your mind. And sometimes those thoughts are positive, and other times they're negative. So what I encourage my clients to do, and there is a process, there's actually tools that I work with my clients on to help them to get control of this. But basically the idea is when you realize that that black stallion is off on a tangent, you need to just try to gently, coax it back and say, okay, come on back to the corral. And when that stallion is back and just calm and here in the present, doesn't have to work so hard, it doesn't have to run, and things start to flow. So I hope that makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about a concept that is another important piece of the puzzle, which is what we call disorientation. But it also has ties to what you might know as mindfulness, as being, connected or disconnected. And so I kind of want to talk about that a little bit because it's really super important. So if you think about how thoughts work, when you're in the present moment, you're able to be focused on exactly what is happening in the environment at that time. But when your mind is off and it's in that thought realm, you're consciously processing what your mind is thinking about rather than what is actually happening in the physical realm. So a really common example, and it's just very useful because I think we've all been there, is when you're driving your car and your mind goes off and you are very absorbed in what you're thinking about. You're thinking about where you need to go, what you're going to be doing. You could be thinking about the past, whatever it is. And suddenly you realize that you've arrived at your destination and you really have no recollection of the drive. It's like, oh, whoa. Did I stop at that stop sign? I really don't remember. And so that is a classic example of disorientation. So you're kind of like disconnected mentally from what's happening in the physical. And when you are disconnected, you are not in the present moment, and so it can make things challenging. For instance, if this has ever happened to you when you're with another person and you're having a conversation and your mind kind of goes off and you start thinking about something, maybe you started off being related, but then before you know it, you're like off and you've then disconnected from that person. And you may not be hearing them correctly anymore. It may kind of sound like Charlie Brown's teacher. And at that point, that disconnect, if you don't get control of it and bring yourself back, it can lead to lots of misunderstandings. It can lead to hurt feelings. It can lead to just missing out on connecting with another person or doing what you need to do. So that mind, your mind really can't be, when it's off, it's either in the past, thinking about, when you have those thoughts that just revisit over and over and over again, and you just keep replaying and replaying and replaying, and you might be refeeling and refeeling and refeeling emotions. And because our mind is a tool that predominantly is there to problem solve, a lot of times what happens is that we get stuck in this problem solving mode, which is ultimately focusing on the negative. So it is very, very easy for our thoughts to go negative quickly. And if you have fear and you have worry about what's going to happen in the future, that also can replay and replay and replay and replay. But when you're thinking in that way, that's the reality that basically you're living in. Your body can't tell the difference. So it's super important to try to become aware of what your mind is doing, where it is, and whether it is in a place that is serving you, or is it harming you? Is it creating chaos within your life that is not necessary? So I want to give you an example of a client that I worked with who she had a brain tumor and 2 very young kids, so like 4 and 6. And this was obviously excruciatingly scary for her. But she came to me kind of in crisis mode because she was in fight or flight. Her thoughts were constantly on in the future, thinking about what her kids were going to do if she didn't get through this brain tumor, this cancer. And she was imagining her children being left alone and without a mom, and it was absolutely terrifying. But what she came to throughout the coaching was that by being in that state in the future, and ultimately not knowing that that was really the case, right? Like by believing that it was, making her life so upsetting, right? And there was a very good chance that she was going to make it through just fine and go on and live her life. But just that chance that it wasn't going to go that way had her mind thinking of all of those really scary things. And so when we worked on really having her hone in and become aware of where her mind was and what it was thinking about, and actually bringing her mind back to the present moment so that she could see things for what it really was, that right now I'm fine. And what she realized, it was this huge aha moment, was that because she had been so disoriented and in her thought world and kind of obsessing about these possibilities that might happen, she was actually missing out on all of the wonderful and amazing experiences that she could be having with her kids right now, and enjoying her amazing family and her life for what it was right then. So finding that place where you can bring your mind back to your body is so important. It is a skill. It's definitely a skill. It's something that I work with my clients on, pretty rigorously, but it can totally be done. So I wanted to do a little thought experiment, and I do see that I have some people on, so if you could just if you are available to type in who's there, that would be great. But if not, that's fine too. So I wanted to do a little experiment. And that would be, let's just try to, first of all, be as present as we can with the tools that we have to do that. One way to become present and in your body is to take some really big, deep breaths. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let's do like 3 super deep breaths. Hold it in and just let it out, and just become aware of your breath. Let's do it again. Take a big deep breath. Hold it, and then just let that out. And one more big one. Feel that breath in your body, and let it out. Okay, so that is definitely one way of achieving becoming into the present moment and into your body. So remember that, and do lots of breathing. But as far as this little thought experiment goes, what I wanted to do was see if you can close your eyes, and let's just kind of go on a little journey. Let's start off easy. Okay. So I want you to think about your favorite room in your house. And so just in your mind, go to your favorite room, the room in your house that you feel the most comfortable, and there's something about it that you just love. And so be standing in that room, and what I want you to do is now just notice from your perspective of where you're standing in that room. Look around and get all the details of that room. Notice the little parts of the room that make it special. Take another big deep breath. And what I want you to do now is shift your perspective and turn around, or turn maybe to the left or the right, and look and see what's over there. So you're looking with your mind's eye. You're looking with your consciousness. What's over there? And now you could turn all the way around, or you could, let's have you walk away from that room and into another room. And if there's a window in that room, go ahead and look out. Get the details of what you see from that perspective. What's going on out there? What do you see? And now just bring your awareness back to your body. So do a couple big deep breaths. Kind of become aware of your toes and your fingers, and another deep breath, and then open your eyes. And I would be curious to know how that went. Was that easy for you to do? Could you see all the details? Could you shift your perspective? When we are doing that, if you get really into that thought, you can actually get to the place where you feel like you're there. Now, that may not have been long enough, may not have been deep enough, but hopefully it was, to actually get that sensation of being in your house, in your favorite room, being able to see the special things that make that room such a pleasant place for you to be. And so our physical body was right here. But mentally, in our mental realm, we can go anywhere and be anywhere. You're not restricted to our physical form. You could mentally go to Paris, right? You could go to the moon. You could go into a realm that is completely made up and in your imagination. So mentally, we are not restricted from it. We're only restricted by our own imaginations and our own beliefs. So when we are using our mind as a tool, let's say in visualization and in creating our goals and our dreams and kind of being able to picture ourselves in a situation that we are happy and joyous and we are, we are where we have been wanting to be, then your body picks up on that vibration and you can actually start to experience that feeling in your body, which ultimately is connecting with your identity, with your subconscious, and you will start to attract the things that you're thinking about, especially when you're thinking about thoughts that have emotion attached to them. So I had posted yesterday about visualization, and that is a super important piece of the puzzle, but we don't want to get lost in our thoughts, because ultimately what we want is alignment. We want to be able to align our mind, our body, and then of course our spirit as well. So just real quick, I'm kind of going over time here, but just real quick, that part of you where you are witnessing your thoughts, that is a piece that if you can really start to become aware where you are, how are you experiencing those thoughts? How are you controlling those thoughts? How are you interacting with those thoughts? Some people will call that place where you look from and look into your imagination or look into your thoughts. You might call it your mind's eye. It's what's doing the looking. It's not, it's almost like you're doing the same thing as when you're looking with your real eyes, but it's not your real eyes. When you have your eyes closed and you're looking at something in your mind, it's almost like you're looking through a camera. You're looking through a lens. So what is that part? What is that part of you that's doing the looking? It could be called the seat of consciousness, your mind's eye, your essence, your awareness. It's that lens that you are looking through. And that part of you is what we need to tap into. It's becoming aware of your thoughts. And once you can become aware of your thoughts, you can then determine whether or not those thoughts are serving you and whether or not there's something that you choose to believe. You don't have to believe your thoughts. Your thoughts are just running and giving you options. But as you just really discovered through that thought experiment that we just did, where I had you walking through your house, you could control where you were looking. You could turn to the right. You could turn to the left. You could shift your perspective. You could move around. So that right there shows me, and hopefully showed you, that you can have control of your thoughts. You absolutely can. It is just the awareness behind it that is critical. So I think that with that being said, I'm just going to leave you guys with really trying to, over the next few days, just practice with that. So try to become aware, just do some breathing, get yourself back to your body. If you feel like you are in a mental spin and your thoughts are just breathe and try to just become aware of your body and aware of the physical environment around you. And hopefully that will help you with cutting off some of that chaos. We're coming into a really busy time of year, and finding that core part of yourself will help you so much to get through. And that's really what we're after here, is to find that inner core, that essence of yourself, that badass that's within you, that light, that love, your connection to source that really keeps everything connected. Mind, body, spirit. Spirit being the essence of who you are. So we'll be getting more into that as time goes on. But what I am going to do, I actually have this handy, which I know this is going to be, oh no, it isn't backwards, or it doesn't look backwards from here. But I have this handy little checklist that I'm going to post that speaks to changing your thought patterns. So just bringing a little bit of awareness to your thoughts, and just a few little suggestions on how to do that. If you really want to learn more and like really power into how to get control of your thoughts and these tools that I'm talking about, please PM me. I have worked with so many people and have had amazing results with really helping people to gain the ability to get into the present moment without having to do, tons of deep breathing and meditating and all that. Those are all super valuable, and definitely do that. Do your meditation, do your deep breathing, but there are ways that you can do it very quickly and just at will, so that you can start to catch your thoughts before they bring you down the rabbit hole. So that being said, hey Jesse, glad to see you here. I don't know if you're just joining, but I'm kind of closing out. But yeah, so if you want help with getting that your thoughts under control and really starting to work with that, please PM me. I have my amazing online program that's coming up. I do one-on-one coaching as well. So I would love to help out on that front. So with that being said, I am excited to see you around the group. And for those of you who were not able to join, I will be posting the replay. And feel free to put your comments in and your questions. I will be monitoring that after the fact. And I will answer all of those questions and anything that comes up. So also, please feel free to share your stories and your experiences on the group page. That's what we are here for. That's what we're doing. So shine bright and make sure your thoughts are matching your intentions. And have an awesome day, and I will see you on the post. And shine that badass. Bye.